Hancock Stadium on the campus of Illinois State University, the scene as we will crown the final champion of the weekend. The Class 6A championship will be decided in a battle of the Flyers of East St. Louis Senior and the Panthers of Glenbard North. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Stalker alongside Bill Gorley, and in this ball game, you've got a team that's used to being here against a team here for the very first time. East St. Louis senior players probably feel that everybody has a schedule 14 games long. They're in a title game for the 9th time looking for their 6th title.
And they've been in 55 playoff games, Tom, so this is like a home field advantage as far as East St. Louis is concerned.
They are led by an outstanding running back, Chris Moore, who despite missing 2 ball games this year has still rushed for over 2,000 yards, and he averages over 9 yards every time he touches the football.
Well, the thing we want to watch today is not only has he have that, he's got the opportunity to set the state record for total rushing yards. He has 5,038. He needs 40 yards today to surpass the record.
He also could set another all-time state record in career touchdowns if he scores 3 touchdowns today, and he's very capable of doing that.
He has 82. If he goes for 3, he's got the championship, the title as far as the greatest scorer in the history of Illinois is concerned. And if he gets 2, he ties it. So that's what we're looking for. Number 12, Chris Moore.
Meanwhile, East St. Louis Senior struggled this year. Their team didn't gel offensively until late in the year. They tried to be a typical East St. Louis Senior passing team. It just wasn't working. The line wasn't gelling. The receivers weren't there. Then they decided to go ahead and let Moore do the work. After all, he runs behind a line that averages over 250 pounds a man.
Right, and that's the biggest problem that Glenbrook North is going to have, is to be able to handle that size and the speed and quickness that the Flyers usually portray.
Meanwhile, the Panthers of Glenbard North didn't get a lot of respect in the Chicago area through the course of the year, but along the way in the regular season, they beat Wheaton Central, a team that you just saw here gave Mount Carmel everything they could ask for in the 5A title game, but they are here. They're 12-1.
Well, they had 8 starters, as we mentioned earlier, that did not play defense, so they've come up with 5 shutouts, so they feel they have some momentum going. They also shut out Naperville North in the playoffs. So they've got 6 shutouts coming into this football game. They feel they need respect. They're tired of being called the Hilltoppers.
Exactly. That's like calling a Chicago Bear a Packer. That is just an insult to a Glenbard North Panther. Meanwhile, they've got an all-stater of their own in a great 2-way performer in Tim Miller, quarterback and strong safety.
And Tom, I think that's the key to this football game. Tim Miller is a 2-way player. He's a safety. If he has to make too many tackles on Chris Moore, who his weight goes anywhere from 190 to 205, but nevertheless it's like hitting a freight train. If he has to make too many of those tackles, you have to wonder about his efficiency running the option for the offense for Glenbard North.
He's also Glenbard's leading rusher. I mean, he's just a throwback. He is a hard-nosed, big play player.
And when we're talking about leading rusher, he has over 1,400 yards. So he's not a slouch as far as the runner is concerned either.
Now, defensively, Glenbard North is not your typical 6A team in terms of size. They don't have anybody, Bill, over 200 pounds, and that's got to be a concern considering, again, that offensive line of the Flyers at over 250 pounds a man.
Well, I think that's the biggest concern that Coach Clint Evans has, is coming in here, how he can handle that size, how he can offset it as far as his defensive schemes are concerned. And to me, that and the ability of Tim Miller to have to make tackles and run the offense, those are the keys as to whether Glenbard North can win this football game or not.
This could be a very quick football game. Both teams are very much running-oriented. Glenbard North passes pretty much only when they have to, and East St. Louis really figures they're going to run right at you. They're going to challenge you.
Well, and then Bob Shannon said that that's exactly what they were going to do. Glenbard North, on the other hand, throws the balls 9 times a game. We've noticed that the wind is particularly strong, so 2 teams that don't like to throw the football, when you have a disadvantage like the wind, probably won't throw. It's
going to be a battle to see which team controls the trenches today. Joining us down on the sidelines is Joe Passion, and he'll fill us in as to where these 2 schools came from for today's 6A title game.
All right, thanks very much, Tom. And a lot of people know about East St. Louis Senior High School, and like the Hilltoppers Panthers, they don't like being called East St. Louis Lincoln. They're East St. Louis Senior. They're the football power, and of course, from St. Clair County, right outside of St. Louis, Missouri, on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. And they're a team that got here by getting here with some big victories in postseason play. Starting off with a victory over Granite City, and then knocking off Moline, giving up only 7 points in each game, and then a shutout win over Downers Grove North, and then that big victory against Tinley Park's Andrew High School, 20-4, that got the Flyers of Coach Bob Shannon here. Now, as for Glenbard North, well, the Panthers also had a very tricky road getting here down to Normal. They're out of Carroll Stream, the third team of the finals that have been down here from DuPage County, and the second team in the last two games from the DuPage Valley Conference. The Panthers defeated Hoffman Estates, then St. Charles, and then knocking off Naperville North 31-0 before they won their semifinal against Loyola Academy of Wilmette to get here for the championship game. Now, weather-wise, much like the 5A game, you've got a very bristly wind at about 20 miles an hour coming out of the southwest. Or excuse me, coming out of the north. It was coming out of the south yesterday. Very cold, about 20 degrees or so. The wind will pay havoc with the game, and that should make it very interesting to see how both teams will suffice. And now let's meet the two teams here today and go up to our public address announcer, Steve Adams.
Panthers are coached by Dale Evans. East St. Louis Senior, coached by Robert Shannon, enters this game with a record of 12-1. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet this afternoon's starting lineups. First, for Glenbard North, the head coach is Dale Evans. Assistant coaches, Dave Burtis, Jeff Cherry, Jim Jacobson, George Gleich, Gary Beebe, Bill Hennessy, Mark Hahn, Brian Loniken, Rich Letmansky, and Paul Tomachevich. And now, here is the starting defensive lineup. At left end, number 43, Dan RINENBACH. At left tackle, number 73, Paul Ambrosio. At right tackle, number 60, Ken Chu. At right end, number 51, Brian Wittersheim. At linebacker, number 33, Willie Miranda. At linebacker, number 44, Bill Bowers. At linebacker, number 28, Matt Bacara. At linebacker, number 42, Larry Blazinski. At cornerback, number 20, Joe Berardi. At cornerback, number 27, Vince Ladoni. And at safety, number 12, Tim Miller. Those are the Panthers of Glenbard North High School of Carroll Stream. And now, let's meet East St. Louis Senior High School. Here is the head coach of the Flyers, Bob Shannon. Assistant coaches, Arthur Robinson, Terry Hill, Lindsey Stewart, Ken Goss, Marion Stallings, George Walsh, and David Spriggs. And now, let's meet the starting offensive lineup. At left end, number 40, Richard Jenkins. At left tackle, number 68, Derrick Eldridge. At left guard, number 56, David James. At center, number 66, Wayne Stewart. At right guard, number 72, Dwight Allen. At right tackle, number 71, Latasha Scott. At right end, number 89, Dennis Stallings. At quarterback, number 11, DeAndre Singleton. At halfback, number 12, Chris Moore. At flankerback, number 10, Roderick Fisher. And at fullback, number 26, Corey Dent. Those are the Flyers of East St. Louis Senior High School. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
so we are set now for the 6A title game. East St. Louis, who was denied an appearance to defend their title a year ago as they were upset by Downers Grove North, but they avenged that in their march here to Hancock Stadium this year. Glenbard North, its first appearance here in the final game. The officials for this afternoon's game, the referee, Bill Pentecoff, with the umpire, Joe Garrow, Tony Ciuto, the linesmen, Robert Niblo, the field judge, and the back judge is Frank Rutter. And let's get an update on the weather conditions down on the sidelines and Joe Passion.
All right, Tom, well, as we mentioned, unlike on Friday when there was a warm wind coming up from the south, a very cold wind has been coming on from the north, and that's coming across the field. It's kind of a crosswind from the near side of the field toward the far side of the field at about 20 miles an hour, going to severely contain the passing and, of course, the kicking game. One other side note, too, literally from the sidelines of the 5 previous championship games played here the last 2 days, every team that's been in dark jerseys on this sideline has won the championship game. I'm not trying to hex Glenbard. I just want to let them know what they've got to hold on to. Back upstairs, fellas.
All right, Joe, Matt Baccarat in the kickoff for the Panthers. Back deep is Roderick Fisher. It is taken by an up man, and the ball is on the turf. It is fumbled. It is at the 28-yard line.
Fumble on the kickoff.
And first down, Glenbard North. They have recovered the fumble.
Well, that's exactly what Glenbard North was looking for, is some opportunity to be able to do some things that East St. Louis has not had to worry about previously. There's the fielding of the kickoff. Marcio Haywood fumbled the football, and of course the Glenbard Panthers are all over. It looks like a team recovery there.
Coach Dale Evans in his 17th year sees his team get a big early break. Tim Miller. Hands it off through the right side to Dan RINENBACH, the fullback, and he plows down to the 25-yard line. Strong safety Corey Dent makes the stop. Miller, the quarterback, with the backfield of RINENBACH and Basile. Tight end Bill Bowers put on Kendall Matthews. Jason Puccini has been their big receiver when they do throw. There's an offensive line, a very smart offensive line, but only averages 200 pounds tackle to tackle. It's at the 24-yard line. Second down and 5.
And the big part of Glenbard North's offense, of course, is going to be the option. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, is that Tim Miller is the young man that is the leading rusher. Now, that's normally not the case. The quarterback is always a good rusher, but not necessarily the leading rusher. And in this case, Tim Miller is the man.
As a starting quarterback, Miller is 22-2 over the last 2 years. You see he has rushed for over 1,000 yards, averaging over 5.5 yards a carry. Second and 5. He keeps on the option. Drives it straight ahead of the 20-yard line. Ran right into linebacker David James, who is a big-time hitter in the linebacking core for the Flyers.
Tim Miller, would, in most cases, would rather run the dive and keep the ball rather than pitch. That has not been his forte. Ball.
Just a minute and a half gone. Glenbard North recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff at the 29-yard line. They have a third down and 1 yard to go. He's going to keep it, and Miller just follows the line surge and gets the first down. Stopped by David James. The defense for the Flyers, they run out of a 5-2. They've allowed only 17 points in the playoffs. And the front 5 and the linebackers, Jackson, Stewart, Maitre Jenkins, along with last-minute starters, the linebackers James and Nicholson.
One of the things that the East St. Louis defense likes to do and does very well is they come off blocks very well, and that's very important when you're playing against an option football team.
First and 10 from the 18-yard line, and Miller gets it down to the 11-yard line. Wayne Stewart on the stop. The option working well.
That's what they can do best. They know how to do it. They run it very well, and Tim Miller is the man that has to pull the trigger. He's very good in terms of his athleticism, but the other thing is decisions. When to pitch, when to keep, when to give. And he does all the reading. It's a reading-type option offense.
Second down. Play. Vince Ladoni down to the 6-yard line. Tackled by the strong side cornerback Marcio Haywood. And it's a first down, first and goal for Glenbard.
Tom, coming into this game, East St. Louis was really a focused football team. We saw them this morning at 9:30 when we went for breakfast. They were already in the lobby with their uniforms, their pants on, and going through some of the schemes defensively that they were going to have to do in order to stop the option.
First and goal from the 6. Straight ahead handoff. And RINENBACH on the carry. Gets it a yard to the 5-yard line. David James again with the stop. One of their co-captains, a 6-foot junior. This year, defensively, St. Louis has played the option well. Miller has just been a big time hero. He's come up with the big plays offensively and the big plays defensively, especially in the playoffs.
Well, I saw him against Kaufman Estates High School, and on the very first play from the line of scrimmage, he read the fact that the safety had cheated over, ran a quarterback sneak, and ran for a touchdown for 80 yards.
Duccini and Matthews are the wideouts. From the 4-yard line, who hit hard at the 2, Matt Bacara. Maitre Jenkins, the middle guard, with the stop. Jenkins was the defensive end until a couple of weeks ago. Got his first start against Downers Grove North.
One thing we haven't seen from East St. Louis yet is the penetration and how the option will be affected, how Tim Miller will be affected in terms of him having to pitch the ball. Now, he doesn't like to pitch the ball, so it may not have as much effect as a normal option team when they make the penetrations.
This hasn't been an easy drive. This is the 8th play of the drive. From the 2, 3rd and goal. Miller wants to throw, sprints away from pressure, and is dragged down back at the 8-yard line by LAMONT Nicholson and the sophomore middle guard Jenkins.
Well, that's what's going to make the difference when you can get somebody that can come up from the inside to be able to handle a quarterback, not only in the pass, but certainly on the option. We'll get a good example of this. He just takes a 3-step drop, has to go to the outside, and you'll see LAMONT Nicholson come from the inside out to be able to make that play. That's the key as far as option. Now, I know that was a pass play, but that's what we're going to look for all afternoon for the option.
A 25-yard field goal try for Matt Numrick. It's a fake. Throwing into the end zone, nobody there. The receiver wasn't there. Looked like the intended receiver was Bill Bowers. As Ladoni, the holder, it looked to be fake all the way, Bill.
Yeah, it looked like a high snap, but I don't think that it was a planned field goal. I really think they were going for the touchdown. Glenbard North has to go for the touchdown in this situation. They took advantage of a fumble. If they can get a score on the board early, they can take the steam out of East St. Louis.
He throws, and Bowers.
That was a throw and a hope. Bill Bowers, the intended receiver.
So the Flyers will take it over at their own 8, where it's 1st and 10. The handoff goes to Moore. And he drives up to the 11-yard line. He picks up 3, and Tim Miller makes the hit on the very first play.
And that's the main concern, and I feel that the Glenbard North has to be worried about is the fact that Tim Miller will be coming up making too many of those stops, because that'll take a lot out of him offensively.
Chris Moore has averaged just over 9 yards a carry. This year, he's really learned how to run with power and leverage, adding a few pounds on, hovering around the 200-pound mark. He really attacks the tacklers.
Well, I remember seeing him here 2 years ago as a sophomore, and he's really come a long way since then.
2nd and 7 on the cutback. Corey Dent, Tim Miller with the stop. Take a look now at the East St. Louis offense. They run out of either a T or an I. As you see, DeAndre Singleton, who played in this title game 2 years ago as a sophomore, runs the show. The big guy blocking-wise is Jenkins. Make that Stallings the tight end. There's the line that averages 252 pounds a man, but didn't come together until late in the season. 3rd and 4 from the 14. And they swarm over Moore at the 10-yard line. He lost a couple of yards. Miller again, the first defender to get to him.
You have to really admire the quickness that the Glenbard North down people, they're really coming off the ball, coming off the blocks real well to come in and be able to smother Moore. They know if they stop Moore, they stop East St. Louis.
So into punt for the Flyers, DeAndre Singleton, the quarterback, who drops about 3 yards deep in the end zone. He's averaging 35 yards a punt.
Now, Tom, this used to be a problem area for East St. Louis. First of all, they don't punt very often. He's only, as you can see, punted 24 times. But normally you would see a 70 or an 80 or a 90 number back there. Now you have a quarterback who can handle a ball a lot better, has a lot of athletic ability.
Andy Basile is back along with Ladoni. Ladoni watches it bounce and will take it at the 45, but he is only able to pick up a yard. Good coverage by Roderick Fisher. 4:52 to go in the first quarter. The game is scoreless in the battle for the 6A title. And once again, the Panthers will start the drive in Flyer territory. From the 43, it's 1st and 10. Miller off the option, is able to turn the corner, and has run out of bounds at the 33-yard line. He picked up about 10 yards.
And the pitch man was covered very well. Tim Miller kept the ball, and as we mentioned earlier, he would rather keep the ball than pitch it.
Good job by the right side of the offensive line, sealing off that lane.
Yes,
for
they
him.
definitely sealed it off, and there was a little area that Tim Miller saw, and he stepped up inside and then went to the outside.
He picked up 10 on the nose. It's 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
Well, the thing about an option type blocking is you don't have to knock people down. You've just got to get in their face so that you can continue to run the option and do your option thing, either pitch or keep.
RINENBACH and backer on the backfield. It's RINENBACH who goes straight ahead right into the sophomore middle guard, Maitre Jenkins, and he stuffed him for a gain of only a yard.
And that's the key right there. If you stop the dive, then you're forcing Miller to run the ball all the time, and they know that he doesn't like to pitch the ball. So if you force him to pitch the ball, then they're doing something they don't like to do. You know, we talked about earlier about both of these teams offensively. As soon as you see both teams starting to throw the ball a lot, you know they're in trouble, Tom.
2nd down and 9. Miller flushed out of the pocket by Jenkins, and he throws incomplete. A diving try at the 25-yard line by their leading receiver, Jason Puccini. 27 catches on the year and 4 touchdowns. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. Just under 4 minutes left to go in the first quarter. In case you just joined us, this is the Class 6A championship game. The Panthers of Glenbard North against the Flyers of East St. Louis Senior.
Glenbard North, they have 3 players going both ways, and of course East St. Louis has 4, so they're pretty even as far as the players playing both ways are concerned.
Sprint on Patton. 3rd and 9. Looked like it skipped in. They're going to call it a catch at the 20-yard line for Puccini. Frank Spraggins with the coverage, but it looked like it hit the turf. Did it? I don't know.
They can't ask for a replay, but we may be able to get a chance to take a look at it on our replay. He sprints out to his left, obviously looking for Puccini. Well, it's inconclusive. You couldn't see it very well. Coach Shannon's a little upset with it, and he probably had a better angle than we did.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Panthers. RINENBACH with a seam down to the 15-yard line. He picked up 5. Running into the free safety, Spraggins once again.
The thing that's surprising me about Glenbard North, and having seen them once and watched them on a film, is their ability to run the dive right now. They're making yardage on that dive, which really is opening up some other possibilities for their option. And I did not think, with the differential in size, and the speed that East St. Louis had, that they would be able to do that, Tom.
On the counter option, Miller hauled down from behind as he dives forward to the 18-yard line. Right end Dennis Stallings with the stop, who is their big play man defensively. Had 2 fumble recoveries against Moline, and East St. Louis turned both of them into touchdowns.
You can't help but think that if Tim Miller keeps running the dive and then keeps the keeper on the option, and East St. Louis takes a look and says, hey, we're just going to play the quarterback, what the possibilities would be on the pitch.
The drive started at the Flyer 43. It's the 7th play of the drive. 3rd and 2. Quick hitter. Nice counter move up the middle by Matt Baccarat. And he has the first down. And it'll be first and goal for the Panthers.
One of the things that Glenbard North likes to do is run the trap off the dive. It's just a quick trap up front, and it's been very effective for Glenbard North.
Tim Miller in the quarterfinals against Naperville North carried the ball for 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, even had a 67-yard touchdown called back, and he also had 2 interceptions on defense.
Well, there's no question he's a great athlete. He's a basketball player and baseball player as well.
First and goal. Miller picks his way down to the 4-yard line. He has been the offensive workhorse so far. Left tackle Wayne Stewart has been a big surprise defensively for the Flyers. Makes the stop, a 6'2", 260-pound junior.
Maitre Jenkins, number 80, the nose guard, got some penetration that time, which forced Tim Miller back. But Tim Miller was not worried about his relationship with his pitchman because it was a keeper all the way.
Glenbard North, out of the DuPage Valley Conference, Bob Shannon, a familiar position for him over on the sidelines of Hancock Stadium. Approaching the 1-minute mark for the first quarter, a scoreless ball game. Second and goal from the 4. RINENBACH is in for the touchdown. A 4-yard touchdown run straight up the middle for Dan RINENBACH, his 5th touchdown of the year.
And one of the things that Glenbard North really needed to do was to be able to keep the ball away from Chris Moore. There's a dive to Dan RINENBACH, and he's just keeping his feet going. No problem at all as far as him making the touchdown. The down tackles were taken care of, and RINENBACH just went straight ahead for the touchdown.
The point after is no good.
The kick is no good.
The kick no good. 1:03 left to go in the first quarter. Glenbard North has taken a 6-0 lead. As we're here at Hancock Stadium, the battle for the 6A state championship. The final game of a big weekend of football here at ISU.
And I think there's a lot of people in the stands right now that are surprised, Tom, in the way that Glenbard North has been able to run the option.
They move the ball 43 yards in 9 plays. Set up by a punt as East St. Louis had to punt deep from its own end. Let's take a look one more time at the touchdown, Bill.
Just a straight ahead dive, and he just looks for whatever crease he can, and of course his body strength just put him in for the touchdown, and the down tackle was blocked by the offensive guard and center of Glenbard North.
So Matt Baccarat will now kick for the Panthers.
Number 28, Matt McCarroll.
Roderick Fisher awaits it at his 15-yard line. Fisher takes it at the 16. And hammers it out to the 33-yard line for about a 17-yard return. And that's where the Flyers will set up shop with under a minute to go. We'll take a look once again. 43 yards, 9 plays with the drive, taking 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and RINENBACH's touchdown captain.
Well, so far, the story of the game has been field position for Glenbard North and the clock time.
51 seconds left to go. First quarter, the clock running. Second possession for the Flyers, and they have yet to get the ball to the other side of the 50. Moore bounces outside, something he does so well.
Oh, my!
To the 50. He's got one man to beat, and he's hauled out of bounds at the 35-yard line by the quarterback, Joe Berardi, who saved an almost certain touchdown.
On the replay, we will see a great block. Now, he starts out to the right, does not see anything, bounces back out, and this is why he's such a great athlete. There's the block right there. Couldn't see the number, but boy, it looked like... My goodness, look at him run, stretch it out.
And Berardi yanks him out of bounds. You see the run was 32 yards, and very quickly East St. Louis has it on the Panthers side of the 50 with 31 seconds to go in the first quarter, with the Panthers leading 6-0. It is 1st and 10.
That block, as we look through it again, number 40, Richard Jenkins, at the end, made that block that's able to spring more for that long run.
And he is a converted tailback.
There's a number of them. There's also an offensive guard at the tailback.
Straight up the middle. Corey Dent, the fullback, running into left tackle Paul Ambrogio. A defense for Glenbard North that slants and stunts. Let's take a look at that other play, Bill.
Let's take a look at the block. And, of course, Richard Jenkins. Richard Jenkins comes up and makes a devastating block. That definitely would have been tackled right there, and he just comes back to make that block, and that's what makes the difference. That's why Chris Moore is so dangerous. When he makes a break and goes the opposite way, you just can't take care of that kind of athletic ability.
Jenkins, a shot putter as well as a sprinter in track. We've reached the end of the first quarter here at Hancock Stadium. 6-0 Glenbard North with the Flyers on the move. Getting ready for the second quarter. I'm Tom Stocker along with Bill Gorley. It's 6-0 in favor of the Panthers of Glenbard North, but the Flyers have it second and 8 at the Panthers 33.
As we start the second quarter, East St. Louis Senior has second down and 8 at the Glenbard North 33.
Singleton wants to throw, putting it up. He's got a man open. It's broken up beautifully at the last moment by Ladoni, who was beaten on the play, but recovered beautifully.
As he recovered, he left his feet and then hit the ball, and the intended receiver was Richard Jenkins. We'll get a good example of that.
Broken up by
DeAndre Singleton lets the ball fly. There he's beat at least by 5 yards. He makes a tremendous effort on the leap, knocks the ball down, and of course, Richard Jenkins can't make the catch.
Third down and 8 to go.
5'10", 162, had 2 interceptions in the playoff game against St. Charles. He may be Panthers starting quarterback next year. 3rd and 8 from the 33. Chris Moore onto the tailback spot, drives and powers close to first down yardage at the 25-yard line. The first defender to hit him was Matt Baccara, who is their leading tackler with 74 stops on the year.
And he was following right behind Latasca Scott, number 71, a 5'9", 294-pound tackle. I'd follow behind him, too.
It is short of the first down. It'll be 4th and inches. Just outside the 25-yard line. St. Louis seems to be confused as to what exactly they want to do, and the Flyers will take a timeout.
Well, they didn't have the right personnel in there to run the offensive play, and the tailback realized that and called timeout. There's Coach Shannon. There's a guy that you just have to admire with the kinds of things he's done with his players. We were down watching him this morning, and the way he was talking to him, and he had one of his former players come out and talk to him this morning, and they were really focused. And then when we came out to the game, they were already on the field, dressed, going through some things on one of the practice fields here at Illinois State.
You talk about the tradition that East St. Louis has being in this title game. Look at what the seniors have done. They went to the semifinals in '88, state champs in '89, 90 to the semifinals, and all the way here to Hancock Stadium once again.
Well, Tom, I think a good example of that is when you see their jackets, their letter jackets, they have national champs on their jackets. Most high school kids are concerned with being conference champs, and they're concerned with being national champs. And there's a record that is not going to be surpassed in a long time by Coach Shannon.
Shannon, as a playoff in the playoffs, is 43-7. Moore, second effort, gets the first down as he plunges to the 23-yard line. He picks up 3. Larry Blazinski, outside linebacker, a 5'10" senior with the tackle.
And it is a first down for St. Louis Senior.
Chris Moore has been averaging about 30 carries a game in the playoffs. In the semifinals against Andrew in the tough conditions, he carried it 30 times for 174 yards and had a touchdown.
And the concern of the bigger offensive line really hasn't taken effect on Glenbard North yet.
And here he's the lone setback, and he gets the call, slips through the right side, gets close to the 20-yard line. Left end Dan Rinenbach, one of the co-captains, a 5'11" senior, with the tackle. 2nd and 8 coming up for the Flyers. Such a contrast in the Flyers attack from what we saw 2 years ago. They were throwing it all over the place, but this year the passing game just didn't gel. They were having trouble solidifying their offensive line. Singleton last year passed for over 2,000 yards and 65% completion rate. This year he throws for 751 yards, only 39%.
And no touchdowns.
Here he throws again, and how about that? Touchdown, Dennis Stallings.
Well, they designed that play because it was a good fake, good play action fake, and Dennis Stallings, one of the better players on this football team, just ran right to the post.
That is the 9th touchdown pass of the year for Singleton. Stallings, their leading receiver, his 16th catch of the year.
There he's back to throw. There's no one. The safety, Tim Miller, is not even there to be able to make the play. He comes in behind him. All defenders were within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, so obviously Coach Shannon said, wait, why not throw the football?
Kicking the point after is Nathaniel Robinson, and it is good. And with the point after, the Flyers take a 1-point lead.
There's no question but what Glenbard North is committed to stop the run first.
So 21 yards on the touchdown passing play. Singleton to Stallings. As East St. Louis takes the lead, and we'll take one more look at the touchdown.
This is another angle. He just reverses out, makes a little fake, not really very much of a fake, because there were so many people up on the line of scrimmage. Tim Miller was up smelling Chris Moore at number 12, and there's no way that he could handle the tight end coming across over the post.
So the Flyers take the lead early here in the second quarter at Hancock Stadium. And Nathaniel Robinson tees it up with Marlon Williams and Matt Baccarat back deep for the Panthers. Williams to the near side, Baccarat to the left of your screen. Straight on kick, carries well and sails all the way through the end zone. Robinson got a good toe into that one.
Well, this is one of the things that the East St. Louis has not always been real consistent with, is their special teams, particularly their kicking. And this is one of the things that Coach Shannon felt that they needed to emphasize, and they have a lot better rapport with these special teams, and they've worked at it, and it shows today.
So Tim Miller trots out with the ball at the 20-yard line. Much in contrast to yesterday, you've got to bundle up here this afternoon because that wind is bitingly cold today.
And I understand, Tom, that a storm may be brewing.
Some frozen precipitation may be on the way here to Central Illinois later this weekend.
Well, let's hope you can get back to Memphis before that comes.
7-6, Glenbard North trailing for the first time. Tim Miller, according to his coaches, we take a look at the scoring drive. It went 67 yards in 8 plays and took just under 3 minutes.
And then, as we mentioned, they really caught Glenbard North's defense by surprise, because Chris Moore needs 2 touchdowns to surpass the record for rushing touchdowns. And, of course, everybody's going to look for number 12 to be running the ball. And Tim Miller came up, and the tight end got in behind him. It looks like the official might be hurt.
Right there in front of the Glenbard North bench as they go to work over there. 1 point with that 32-yard run by Moore that keyed the touchdown drive for the Flyers. He is nearing the all-time Illinois high school career rushing record. He needed 40 to take that record.
Right, so he's breathing on that one also. Gee, maybe Joe Passion can get his paramedic man down there to take care of that official, because he looks like he's got some kind of a cramp in his left calf.
There's Joe looking on. 1st and 10 from the 20. 10-12 to go in the second quarter. Counter play, spinning up the middle. Andy Basile running into Maitre Jenkins. Basile gets maybe a couple of yards to the 22. And they're working on the calf muscle of the official. It's unusual that you would get a cramp on a cold day like this, but these guys work hard out there.
Well, and they have a lot of clothing on, too, so he's probably been warm, and he's probably got long underwear on him, along with a few other things. But it is really chilly down there. I'm a warm person, but boy, it's cold down there.
Second down. Miller runs get himself some time. Throws. It is intercepted by Lamont Nicholson at the 42-yard line. It was intended for Puccini, but Lamont Nicholson picks off the interception. And that's not surprising. He played strong safety last year.
And he's a linebacker now. He's not really big by East St. Louis standards, 6'2", 180 in there. You see a picture of Lamont. We get a good bird's eye view here from the end zone. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Tim Miller's flushed out of the pocket, has to throw from his left, and he's a right-handed person. And of course, that's very difficult. And there's the pressure that we're getting from Stallings. Stallings, an outstanding defensive end, probably one of their better prospect possibilities as far as Division I is concerned for college.
There you see Lamont Nicholson with the big interception, setting up the Flyers at the Panthers' 41. Singleton putting it up. A man wide open, Roderick Fisher, and he can't make the catch. He was so open.
Coach Shannon really has a good game plan. He knows that they're reading run. They play a goal line technique with their 2 tackles. They're going to stop the run and hope that they can pick up things with a pass. And if you're not playing a passing team, Glenbard North is really happy to see that. We'll see a replay. There's a little fake. Not much of a fake, but enough to hold everybody. And he just lets the air out. And Vince Ladone is within maybe 10 yards. Maybe Roderick. Fisher does not make the catch.
2nd and 10 from Glenbard's 41-yard line. 9:08 to go in the first half. There's a little wingback counter. Roderick Fisher, and he gets good yardage inside the 35-yard line. Bill Bowers, inside linebacker, makes the stop. He is their leading tackler for Glenbard with 99.
Look at how far apart his arms are. He didn't really get his elbows in. You teach people to catch the football with your elbows in. Well, there's a good example. I mean, it looks like he's a center fielder trying to catch the ball.
Of course, Shannon fed us run all week. We're going to run. We're going to run.
I think he's using us.
Of course, the East St. Louis team very capable of passing in years past. Tried it earlier this year. Moore cuts inside to the 29-yard line. He gets the first down. Now let's get an injury update on a referee from Joe Passion.
The line judge, Bob Niblo of Freeport, is out of the game. He's over here on the sidelines, and the trainers are taking a look. What he's done is he's pulled a calf muscle on his left leg, and he's just not able to put any pressure on it right now, so he's tried to come back in. We'll try and go back out there as soon as he can. He just says he needs to have it loosen up a little bit, but he's in big pain. Bob Niblo of Freeport, the line judge, hope to have him back in a little bit.
Well, he may have gotten hit by a player, and that is very painful, Joe.
Singleton throwing again for Stallings. He has a catch. Touchdown, East St. Louis. Stallings with his 2nd touchdown catch of the day.
If you can't do it with Fisher, you do it with Stallings, and Stallings was wide open, and he made a tremendous catch, over-the-shoulder catch, and his elbows were in.
The first catch, 21. This one from 29 yards.
Again, not much of a fake. It's the same type of fake made before, and he's looking for one person. He's looking for Stallings. And Tim Miller right behind him. Again, not looking for the tight end getting behind him.
Robinson kicking the point after. It is good. And very quickly, the Flyers have taken a 14-6 lead with just under 8 minutes to go in the first half of the 6A title game. Flyers have just lengthened their lead to 14-6, and here's how they did it.
There's just that little fake that they've made to the tailback Chris Moore, and he waited just enough to be able to get the ball over to him, and Stallings made a tremendous catch. Singleton just put a lot of air under the ball, and great camera work, guys. That was a great angle to see that catch.
I'll tell you what, Glenbard light on the play action. 41 yards in 4 plays, taking but a minute 29 as Nathaniel Robinson kicks to the 8-yard line. Matt Bachra on the return has a lane. He's got one man to beat. He gets to the sidelines, and he's spun down to the ground by Roderick Fisher, who saved the touchdown. A great run back by Matt Bachra.
Well, that certainly could make a difference in a game when you can break one right after somebody scored. And Roderick Fisher came up and made the play. That was the only man he had to beat.
A return of 40 yards for Bachra.
There's Bachra. He steps up inside, then turns to the outside, and what a lane. And all he has to do is beat one person. Roderick Fisher wisely keeps him towards the sideline and throws him down.
Miller hit before he can even run the option. As firing through there was Dennis Stallings.
That's the problem they're going to have as soon as they start getting that type of pressure, is Tim Miller is not going to be able to keep the ball. He's going to have to start pitching the ball. Good example of this. There's no fake to the dive man at all, and Stallings comes in hard from his defensive end position.
2nd and 14 as they lost 4. Stallings was playing defensive tackle, but the fellow was sort of out of position there. He's really taken to the defensive end spot. 7 minutes to go in the first half. Miller under pressure again, and he's yanked down. Firing through there, Derrick Eldridge. Eldridge, who plays 2nd string left tackle, a 5'8", 255-pound senior.
And earlier he had started, Tom, and you're going to see the replay. He just gets good penetration from his defensive tackle down spot, and he comes over and makes a tackle and throws Tim Miller down. Again, Miller trying to go back to pass. Maybe that's a sign.
A loss of 9 sets up 3rd and 23. You see Eldridge with his tackle numbers on the year. Lost his starting position job at left tackle to Wayne Stewart, the offensive center.
And we really don't know why, because he played a good portion of the season as a defensive tackle.
Again, 3rd and long for Tim Miller and the Panthers of Glenbard North. The draw. But Matt Bachra really can't get outside as he was hemmed in nicely by linebacker Lamont Nicholson.
Again, Lamont Nicholson. Lamont Nicholson has been in a lot of plays, as you see, number 23. Doing a lot of things for them, and he's only 6'1", 180, which, again, is not characteristics for the kind of linebackers that Coach Bob Shannon generally has. He usually has some people that are well over 200 pounds.
On 4th down, into punt, Jeff Steed. As he angled it to the far side, and it bounces out of bounds at the Flyer 37-yard line.
And wisely, they're kicking away from Chris Moore. No way they're going to let Chris Moore have the ball in the open field. They can keep him confined, as they have so far in his running ability. And, of course, by doing that, Glenbard North has been vulnerable to the pass.
There you see Hancock Stadium, a scene of some great football action this weekend, as we are crowning champions in 6 different classifications. And this is the final one, the 6A, the largest schools. 1st and 10 from the 37. Moore hammers through the left side and gets 2nd effort yardage to the 42-yard line. Bill Powers, inside linebacker, on the tackle.
And who else came up to finish it off? Number 12, do everything, Tim Miller. And he's what, 6 feet? I mean, 6 yards, 7 yards deep as a safety.
A gain of 6 on the running play for Moore. Bill Powers, a 6'1", 190-pound senior. Moore cutting it back and is up to the 48-yard line again. Tim Miller with the tackle.
And East St. Louis really hasn't tried to break it outside yet. They're trying to stay inside the tackles and just hammer a little bit. The only time we saw them break out was when Moore was stuffed and he broke it out on his own. It was kind of an eclectic run. It wasn't certainly anything that was planned, but so far, Coach Shannon has elected to stay inside the tackles.
Moore picked up 4 yards and the 1st down, and there you see that is their 6th first down of the ball game. Under 5 minutes now for the first half. DeAndre Singleton steps away from the rush, flips it off to Moore. And Moore with great effort to the 40-yard line, gets the first down, just tripped up as he got to the 40, as he picked up about 13 yards.
Well, he's flushed out. He makes that little fake just as he had done in previous 2 touchdown passes. Just flips it out to Chris Moore. And Chris Moore, of course, when he gets a little open room, he can run, and he's caught from behind. But he's very happy with the way he does things. He likes to perform.
Let's say that I'm pretty sure that at some point here already that Moore has taken over the all-time Illinois high school record for career yardage rushing, breaking Jeff Campbell of Catlin's record, set in 79 at 5,079 yards. A reverse to Fisher to the 36-yard line. Tim Miller again on the stop. Normally, when you keep calling the safety's name, making the tackle, that's not a good sign.
That's right. But most safeties don't play 7 yards deep. He wants to come up and make the run. Now you'll see Roderick Fisher, and it's an inside handoff. It's just an old wing T play, and Roderick Fisher looking to go outside, and he's run it a couple times and had success today. And Tim Miller, of course, coming up to make the play.
Straight ahead, diving up the middle to fullback Corey Dent, who started the year as their flanker, and he is to the 31-yard line, very close to yardage needed for the first down. It'll be 3rd down and short.
Corey Dent is really a key figure as far as Chris Moore is concerned, because he's the young man that has to make a lot of the blocks, the important blocks to set the running back free.
3 minutes left in the first half. 3rd and short. This is Dent trying to cut outside. He has the first down. The ball on the turf, but it came out when he made contact with the artificial surface.
And the official made that call accordingly. He said it was caused by the turf, so it's no fumble.
He gets the first down of the 30.
Here's the handoff to the fullback. He sees that the inside is covered and turns it back out to the outside. Now, Corey Dent is only 5'9", 180 pounds, and of course, he's a young man that you've got to be able to have the blocking for Chris Moore, and they're using a lot of people as decoys. They're using the run as a decoy to pass, and the same thing with the fullback getting the ball. There's Chris Moore with the bull run now.
A first down run to the 15, to the 10, 5, touchdown, Chris Moore.
It was only a matter of time before they broke it to the outside, Pam.
30 yards for Chris Moore, and that is his 83rd career touchdown.
Well, if we had any concern about him surpassing the rushing record, he certainly did it on that run right there. Let's get a good look at this. He reverses out, fakes to the fullback, has his offensive guard out in front of him, turns up inside, and then runs away from, I don't believe that was Tim Miller. That looked like Vince Ledone.
Here's Nathaniel Robinson kicking the point after, and it is good. And with 2.5 minutes left to go in the first half, the Flyers have opened up a 21-6 lead here at Hancock Stadium.
That was number 56, David James, that made the key block to be able to set Chris Moore free.
The Panthers' worst nightmares right now are coming true, as not only the running game now of Moore has been established, but they really opened it up with the passing game.
Yes, and of course, I think those are the things that Bob Shannon was keeping secret from us, because he wanted to be able to surprise him. Good end zone angle. There's the fullback, and then, of course, there's the 2 guards that we talked about coming out. David James and Dwight Allen coming out and making those blocks for Chris Moore. He just waltzes in for his 83rd touchdown.
Bob Shannon, his ball club, leading by 15. Nathaniel Robinson waiting for everybody to get ready to kick it away.
83 touchdowns. That sounds awesome.
Bouncing ball taken by one of the upmen, and spinning up to the 20-yard line, Marlon Williams. Williams to the 27-yard line with 2:22 left to work with here in the quarter, as we take a look at the Flyers' scoring drive of 63 yards, 7 plays, just under 3 minutes.
You know, we're talking about some of these awesome numbers that Chris Moore had. We're talking about some pretty lofty numbers. These are Red Grange numbers. He's a person that still owns a lot of these records, and we're talking about the possibility of him breaking some of those. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line.
Tim Miller sprints out, sidesteps the rush, and is able to get it back to the original line of scrimmage. Dennis Stallings, the right end, makes the tackle, but the pressure put on by that sophomore middle guard, maybe a star defensively in the making here in Maitre Jenkins.
Yeah, Maitre is certainly doing a good job, and I've been watching him very closely, and he is really putting some penetration on. And he's the reason why you can't run the option. If he gets penetration, everything has to start from the middle. Even though it's a dive option type of offense, the middle guard will really create problems for Glenbard North's option.
Minute 25 left in the second quarter. 2nd and 9. Miller gets the pass away. Puccini makes the catch. Oh, he dropped it. Couldn't hang on. He took the lick from LAMONT Nicholson and dropped the football at the 50.
Now that was we'll get a good look at it from the end zone. Split backs. He just 4-step sprint. He's looking for Puccini all the way. And actually, Puccini was in the area, the zone area, where he could catch the ball, but it hit his hands and fell to the turf. It's a kind of a soft spot in the zone that we're seeing East St. Louis play.
3rd and 9 from the Panthers' 28-yard line. Setting up the screen. Andy Basile. Dennis Stallings hit him immediately and dropped him at the 23-yard line for a loss of 5.
Now that time, East St. Louis went man. They were playing man coverage in the secondary. Previously, they had played zone, and that's why they almost had the possibility of a reception, because Tim Miller looked for the soft spot in that secondary.
4th down, and with 1:09 to go, Jeff Steve back in punt position. Moore dances up to the 50. A penalty marker was thrown on the return.
That was not the man you wanted to get the ball to, but it was close to the sideline, so that you could use the sideline as a defensive maneuver.
And the preliminary indication, you see a clip on the return.
Those are the kind of mistakes that Coach Shannon gets very upset about. He doesn't feel that those are mistakes that they should make, and he is not a happy man when they do that. There's a picture of him, and he was talking to one of the players.
At one time, the Flyers were in this title game 6 out of 7 consecutive years. And what a job he does, because let's face it, those are not the best of circumstances and conditions down there at East St. Louis.
And the other thing is, this year, the only loss that he has was to a team in Muskogee, Oklahoma. They had to bring them down, and they lost them 22-0 the second game of the season.
And Moore didn't play in that ball game. Singleton off the bootleg, throwing long, and juggling catch made by Jenkins. He makes the catch, and he's down to the 12-yard line. Great catch, beautifully laid over the shoulder by Singleton.
Can you say enough about Singleton throwing the ball? He threw that ball right on the money. And he's done that 3, 4, 5 times.
53 yards.
Good example right there on the replay. Good air. Catches the ball, very difficult, over his shoulder. And picks up all that extra yardage. What a great play. What a great catch.
He ran to the ball well, because when Singleton first threw the ball, Bill, he was throwing into double and almost triple coverage.
Right. Miller was right there.
1st and 10 from the 12. Singleton jumps away from 2 tacklers. He's still on his feet. And with great effort, gets it to the 14-yard line. Willie Miranda finally made the stop, but 2 Panthers had 3 cracks at him back near the 20.
Well, Singleton has to be tired. And, Coach Shannon coming out and going to talk to him a little bit, but he is a tired young man after having run around a little bit twice. Coach Shannon doesn't feel that they're doing some of the things that he wants, because he was really excited there at the beginning when he called that timeout.
A clock stop with 16 seconds left to go in the second quarter. The Flyers of East St. Louis lead at 21-6. As right now, a rather concerned Dale Evans looks on.
Well, Dale Evans, one of his claims to fame is that he snapped the football at Kansas to a great running quarterback by the name of Bobby Douglas.
Who, of course, went on to fame and fortune and all sorts of other great things in Chicago with the Bears. Left-handed quarterback. Right now, what Glenbard North can ill afford is for the Flyers to tack on one more touchdown here just before the first half.
We've got 16 seconds, so they really got to smother them. They're all playing the run, so look for a pass.
2nd and 12. Singleton wants to put it up. Gets it away. Penalty marker down. The catch made at the 5-yard line. And down to the 1 is Roderick Fisher. Vince Ladoni, the quarterback, with the stop. But again, the penalty marker thrown on the play.
Normally, you would look for possibly an illegal receiver, but I don't believe that's what the call is.
It may be defensive holding.
Yep, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Signal is holding against Glenbard North.
That was as Fisher was trying to run his pattern.
Well, you almost have to feel that way, and you'll see the flag there. He's got it up already. Glenbard North was in their goal line technique, and then they realized he was going to throw the ball. There's a flag right there, so they had no other choice. They had to hold to try and keep the receiver from coming out. But boy, he's trying to get in right now because he knows how much time is left on the clock. He's crawling right in there to try and get that touchdown.
Just 9 seconds left. As we sort out the penalty, and the Flyers will stop the clock with a timeout. The defensive holding penalty is declined, and it will be first down at the 1-yard line.
And puts the ball to work.
And goal at the 1 after the 13-yard reception.
Well, you have to wonder what Coach Shannon has up his sleeve at this point. As we mentioned earlier, I felt like they were very determined people. I mean, when you get your team up at 9:30 in the morning and they have their uniform on already, and you don't play till 2:30, you can't wait to get on the field. And that was the feeling that we had when they were talking to their players.
In 50 seconds, the Flyers have moved from their own 31 down to the Panthers' 1.
And the question is here, can the Panthers hold them out and let the clock run out?
Moore and Dent are the setbacks. The wingback is Roderick Fisher on the right side. Moore, touchdown, no problem. And there is the record-tying touchdown, his career 84th, which ties the IHSA record set by Darrell Altine of Warsaw, who completed his eligibility in '63.
And DERRICK Eldridge, number 68, was celebrating right along with him, and rightly so, because he's the tackle that has to do the blocking that clears the way for Chris Moore.
Moore's 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. 2 touchdowns each for Stallings and Moore. Nothing to it.
There's the Heisman high step.
The point after by Robinson, good. And with 6 seconds remaining in the first half, it is 28-6 in favor of East St. Louis, and they are firmly in control. They have scored now on their last 4 possessions.
Right, and the way the game started out is exactly the way Glenbard North, if they had to write a script, that was the way they wanted it. They wanted to be able to get the ball, be opportunistic as far as turnovers were concerned, and they kept the ball away from them. But then East St. Louis started to roll, and they started to go to their bag of tricks. Most people wouldn't think that passing is a bag of tricks, but when you don't throw the ball very much and you don't expect it, and with the type of goal line technique that Glenbard North has been using to stop the run, the pass is certainly a weapon, and Coach Shannon used it very well.
Moore right now has got 84 yards on 11 carries and 2 touchdowns. So he has tied one record and broken another so far, and still has another half to go.
Nathaniel Robinson will kick off.
Nathaniel Robinson now to kick it away for the Flyers. Williams and Baccarat back deep. Baccarat from the 10. And a good return the last time. Slowed up at the 23-yard line. That's as far as he gets.
Kickoff. Number 40, Richard Jenkins.
And that is the final play of the first half.
That is the end of the half.
One half is over, and a explosion. 4 consecutive possessions, 4 touchdowns for the Flyers. They lead at 28-6, and they've used a versatile attack. Bill Gorley.
Well, and when you say versatile, like we said, they came in here and did not care to throw the ball, and the whole attack was one young man, number 12, Chris Moore.
All right, halftime activity of our 6A title game after we take this timeout as East St. Louis leads it 28-6. Halftime of the 6A championship game at Hancock Stadium. East St. Louis leads it. And let's go down to our colleague on the sidelines, Joe Passion.
All right, thanks very much, Tom Stocker. I think you'll notice you'll have to go way back to the very beginning of this game. Remember how we talked about how Glenbard North coming in big underdog, yet they get the ball on the opening possession of the game, recovering that kickoff fumble on that opening kickoff by East St. Louis. But big factor here, East St. Louis's defense held up despite Glenbard North having a 1st and 10 from the East St. Louis 12-yard line. They fake a field goal attempt that would have at least given them a 3-point lead. That pass goes incomplete, and all of a sudden, the momentum, despite that 6-point touchdown later by Glenbard North, but East St. Louis never let down, and I think that opening stanza really set the tone for the Flyers, who came flying back, and really, obviously, here with this big, insurmountable halftime lead, have a big bulk on their hands. Did I say insurmountable? Hey, wait a minute. That's why they play 2 halves in a football game, don't they? In the meantime, I'll send it up, and we'll take a look at some summaries and highlights of that first half, and we'll be back down here on the field with a halftime interview coming up in just a moment. Back upstairs in the meantime to Tom and Bill.
Indeed, that's why they have what they call storybook finishes, and there's lots of football left, though right now the Flyers in control. They fell behind 6-0 and then scored on 4 consecutive possessions. The only score of the first quarter came with 1:03 to go. RINENBACH on a 4-yard touchdown as they had gone 43 yards in 9 plays to score, missed the kick, and then the next 4 possessions, it's all East St. Louis. They came out passing. They talked run all week, and the Singleton to Stallings combination clicked twice, 21 and 29 yards. And then it was the running game. Chris Moore runs of 30, and then scoring the last touchdown with just 6 seconds left to go. Moore with one state record in hand, tying another one. And again, I talked about the versatility, and I mentioned as we talked over these scoring plays there, Bill, that he talked, oh, we're just not a passing team anymore. We're going to run the football. And I think really the Glenbard defense really bid on it.
Well, I think he was sandbagging a little bit, and obviously they came into the game with the idea they wanted to throw the ball. But I think the first couple minutes looked like it might have set the tone, because with the fumble, with the turnover, Glenbard North felt that they could stay with them. And as Joe had said, that the momentum changed quickly. Had they been able to turn in the second opportunity to score, I think maybe you might see a little bit different football game at this point, because Glenbard North was running the option the way they wanted to. There was no penetration. East St. Louis looked very tentative. They did not do the things that you needed to destroy the option. They were just kind of playing hand-to-hand, and then all of a sudden the gates opened up.
One quick point, though. Since the offensive lines come together for East St. Louis, they obviously have more confidence in their passing. We've got more coming your way from Hancock Stadium. Halftime of the championship game for Class 6A. The Flyers lead it 28-6. Back at halftime at Hancock Stadium, where East St. Louis leads at halftime. And let's go down to the sidelines and Joe Passion.
All right, thanks very much, Tom. You know, we noticed here in the first half of this game already that we had an official injured. And very appropriately that I happened to, and I think kind of wisely on my part, to have scheduled Jay Lyons, who was the head referee in the 4A championship game last night, for our halftime interview here. And let's first talk about a newsworthy topic here. Bob Nivlo, who was the the line judge here in the 6A game, was injured in the first half. He's going to be going out. We've seen him taken out on a cart. That left calf of his that was kind of smushed a little bit, apparently got a cramp. So there's an objective here. Let's get another referee in. You brought up a good point. There's a lot of them to choose from here.
Well, the nice thing about working down here, Joe, is that there are a lot of qualified officials ready to step in. And what they've apparently decided to do is take an official from who had just worked the 5A game, have a little pregame and a little initiation with the crew at halftime here, and he'll be able to step out and work with this crew, get an idea how their mechanics work, and hopefully be able to fill in and cover the plays in the game.
Okay, tentatively, John Anderson, who was in the 5A game, will be replacing Bob Nivlo. In fact, Frank Garuda, who was the back judge, will move back to the line judge position. So they'll all have it all figured out. They'll have 5 officials out there for the 6A game, and that should make it pretty easy. Jay, I know you've been officiating now 20 years, football, basketball, and baseball. You and I talking a little earlier. This has got to be kind of easy for you guys because the teams that get to this game are so well coached, so disciplined, it's got to make your job a little easier.
It really is a pleasure when you have some fine ball clubs like the ones we had last night, like all the ones that are down here this weekend, Joe. They're so well coached, and just a word of reminder sometimes if there's a minor infraction or about to be a minor infraction, the sportsmanship levels here are great. The kids are just helping each other up, complimenting each other on the hits. It's a thrill to be down here and be able to work with these kids.
Obviously, anyone who watches pro football, they see the instant replay comes into being. I mean, you're an official. You see that happen to other guys that are in the industry for you. How does that make you feel? The mechanics, the technology of the 90s taking over where the human instinct makes it controversial as well as satisfying.
Well, you know, we have mixed feelings about it because, you know, we all want to make the right call all the time, and unfortunately the human factor puts us in a situation where we don't. But I think for instant replay, as long as the right call is made and the correct teams benefit from whatever the situation was, I think that's what the bottom line is, and that's what we need to make sure happens.
When the officials get together here, obviously the officials are honored by being here, and this is somewhat their trophy case, really, just being assigned to this, and I think that's an honor for the job that you've done this year and the crew and all the other crews that have worked here. What does the IHSA do to allow you guys to earn a shot at being here in the title game?
Well, sometimes that's a mystery to us, Joe. We're not exactly certain ourselves, but certainly it has to do with working your way up through the Illinois High School Association's certification program of officials, working a full varsity schedule, establishing yourself a reputation with you and your crew as officials, and just going out and doing a good job and hanging in there and waiting your turn. There's a process, and you just have to work with the system.
Let me ask you one other thing, too. There's a lot of people out there right now, and I'm sure you get approached by younger people who would like to stay close to the game. We're seeing a lot more people getting involved as sports trainers and sports medicine, and the IHSA has opened up more people to get into coaching that are not necessarily teaching at schools. What about becoming officials? What does one have to do to become an official, no matter what the sport is in Illinois?
Well, officiating is a great avocation, Joe, and those of us who spend some time doing it, and not everybody's as crazy as me doing free sports, but they pick a sport maybe they participate in or have a love for. They get involved, they can check with their local high school, and they can refer them to the Illinois High School Association. Frankly, you know, there's not as many people getting into officiating these days. You have to have the right personality for it. But people yell at you and they scream at you sometimes, and you got to have some self-confidence that you know, you've studied the rules, you've been in position to make the call, and hopefully you made the right call. But if they want to stay close to the game, there isn't a better, more rewarding hobby that you could have going out there and working with kids and coaches on a weekend and just staying close to the game. It's really a lot of fun, and it keeps you in shape, too.
Well, obviously so. Congratulations again for being down here. Doing a great job as always. I look forward to seeing you during the basketball season.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, Jay Lyons, one of the great officials here in the state of Illinois, and we'll be back with more of the 6A State Championship halftime festivities from Hancock Stadium with the score. The East St. Louis Senior Flyers are leading Glenbard North at the break, 28-6.
All right, back at Hancock Stadium with East St. Louis leading, and let's go down to the sidelines and Joe Passion.
All right, thanks, Tom. Dale, I know you want to get back over here to the game real quickly. Give us a little summary of your halftime statements, the adjustments you feel you've got to make.
Well, we got to play a little tougher in the secondary. You know, they've been able to. We really weren't expecting them to throw the ball that much the first half. They went over the top of us several times. They're quick. We knew they're quick. We made some adjustments offensively. Hopefully they work.
Okay, go get them.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach. Dale Evans, the head coach for Glenbard North, got some adjustments, and it starts with the secondary. We saw how East St. Louis likes to go out there very quick. We'll see how that adjustments work here in the second half. Back upstairs, fellas.
Thank you, Joe. Now, for the second half, as the Panthers take a look and see that they're down by 22 points, what would go through their mind?
Well, a lot of people would think, what does a coach say in the locker room? But really, I'm sure Coach Evans felt that you can't get it back all at once. There's no way that you're going to be able to do that. You've got to stay with your game plan. You can't afford to have a grab bag offense go 3 downs and out on offense, because then you're going to turn the ball over and you're going to have a runaway. So that's not, you just have to be patient, I believe, at this point, and be able to say, okay, look, let's stay with the game plan. We're down 22 points, but we can still get it back if we're patient and work at it, and then just take care of the secondary and watch for the pass.
Well, Glenbard North said coming into the ballgame that, well, they hadn't had trouble with the larger schools playing. Of course, the schools that they have this year that have been bigger than them, it really hasn't been a problem. But, teams like Loyola and Hoffman Estates, but now suddenly East St. Louis, and it's tough enough to stop East St. Louis when they're just running. Now you got to try and stop them passing as well.
Right, and that was obviously a facet of the game that Glenbard North didn't feel they were going to see. They were just going to, because Bob Shannon came out and said, we're going to run the football at him. And of course, he was sandbagging the whole time, just like when he talked with us and said, well, we can't throw the ball. We knew that Singleton would throw the ball, but he was having difficulty with types of receivers to be able to throw the ball too.
Maybe sandbagging, or maybe he saw things develop in the game and decided to try some things. Here come the Flyers as they will kick it off. Nathaniel Robinson, the Panthers with Williams and Baccarat back deep. Taken by Baccarat. Baccarat stays at his feet and battles close to the 30-yard line. A good return. Baccarat really a big hero. In the win over Loyola, had 2 touchdowns as a running back, one of 63 yards. That one broke open that ball game.
And now we're going to see exactly how the game plan at the halftime has been formulated, because on the first series, it's really important to be able to establish yourself and do the kinds of things that you do well and want to do.
1st and 10 from the 30. Basile gets the call. Pops through the line, bounces off a tackler, and gets up to the 35. Lamont Nicholson wrapped him up, but not before. Basile with a good gain of 5 yards.
And they're back to their split backs, running their option. They gave it to the dive back, and it looks like they're going to go right back to their game plan and maybe be patient and say, okay, let's go ahead and drive it right down and get it right now.
They used 4 running backs through most of the season, but then they lost Rick Ramirez with a knee injury, and that elevated Baccarat to a bigger role. Basile, the starter, with the big 5-yard play, and it's 2nd and 5. Miller had to cut back on the option, and he dives close to first-down yardage. Yanked down by the ankles by Maitrey Jenkins, who had a heck of a first half.
And a good penetration. Once again, forced Tim Miller to be in a poor relationship with his pitch man, so he stepped up inside. And of course, that showed the kind of athletic ability that he has.
Those lanes are very important on the pitchback.
Absolutely. You've got to have proper lanes, or you cannot run the option the way you would like. And that's why penetration is so important for the defensive team when they're running and playing against an option team.
3rd and short. And Miller keeps it and gets the first down, getting 2 yards to the 41. Tackled by Lamont Nicholson.
The obvious thing is Glenbard North has the ball offensively. They don't have to worry about Chris Moore.
That's what was working well for them early. They kept it away from East St. Louis offense.
And that's why it looked like there was a script that was written early in the football game with regard to the fact that they took advantage of the turnover.
Nicholson stung a little bit, making the tackle, the 6'2" senior.
We'll get a good example of it. Miller steps up inside. He comes in and makes a tackle, and he gets a little stinger, and that hurts a little bit when you get that.
Didn't quite get him straight on, kind of glanced.
Right. Yep. And that hurts.
Got the shoulder.
And Lamont, certainly a very active linebacker in the first half.
1st and 10 from the 41. Good play-action fake, and the pass complete to Cassini over the middle. At the 48-yard line, Spraggins makes the tackle.
Well, that's a good play-action because it's off of the type of offense that they have established. We'll get a chance to see Miller makes the fake. Comes down like he's running the option, runs on the inside to the wingback, and then, of course, to Puccini, and he's right there in the seam. Again, East St. Louis looked like they were playing zone, and that's a soft area that they try to take advantage of in the first half in the seam of the secondary.
Tim Miller, after the completion of 11 yards, it's at the Flyer 48. Fullback gets the call, not much for RINENBACH.
You've got to establish your inside game with the option in order to have success other ways, and this is why they're going back to running their dive option.
Making the tackle was the defensive tackle Cornelius Hodges.
And here's Maitre Jenkins. He looks like he's got a little bit of an injury. He gets hit on the head with a helmet. And then, of course, there's a lot of other people. Looks like a scrum. But Maitre looked like he might have hurt himself a little bit, but he's still right back in there.
2nd and 10. The pitch goes to Baccarat. Gets outside. Cuts behind a block. Down to the 33-yard line. Spraggins finally put the brakes on him. Great job of running.
They're doing what East St. Louis did with the pass, they're doing with the option pitch. That's the first time this afternoon that they have pitched the ball. You'll see the replay. Reverses out, fakes the inside, dives back, and then pitches the ball to Baccarat. Baccarat turns outside. He's caught from behind by Frank Spraggins, the strong safety.
A gain of 15 yards for Baccarat, who had carried the ball only 25 times going into the semis. It was a big hero in the semifinal win. 1st and 10. On the carry, Marlon Williams. Corey Dent makes the tackle for St. Louis.
Great play by Corey Dent, Tom. He played off the block. We'll get a good example of it. There's a fake to the dive option man. There's the pitch. Corey Dent comes off of his block to come inside and make the tackle. That's what you have to do when you play the option. You cannot get tied up with people. You've got to come off the ball, off the block to be able to make the play. That's what makes success of stopping the option.
It's 2nd and 10. Wide open Ducini dives to make the catch as he gets it just inside the 29-yard line. Roderick Fisher was there defending on the play. Pick up a 4.
Just a little pattern turns in. And, of course, it's a 2-step drop by Tim Miller, and he just throws the ball to Puccini, and there's his numbers, 27 receptions. Not a lot because they're not a passing football team.
He's a 2-year starter. 3rd and a long 5. Just inside the 29.
This is going to be an important play right now to be able to keep the ball.
This is the 2nd third down of this drive for the Panthers. Miller has time through Puccini's hands, who took a lick at the 25-yard line. Roderick Fisher applied the lick, but Miller did have time.
Yes, he did. He did not have the pressure. It was actually a 5-step drop. He's trying to get him a little deeper, and there's the lick. And, whoa, man, did he get him. Lamont, Nicholson, and Roderick.
It was very, very close. They were there upon the same instant the ball got there.
That's just a little bit of a pop pass, and there's a picture of Roderick Fisher, who was very happy, but it's Lamont Nicholson who also destroyed that football play.
4th and 6 from the 29, and the Panthers will go for it. Miller into a crowd, incomplete at the 15-yard line, looking for Vince Ladoni. Breaking up the pass was Lamont Nicholson, and the Flyers will take it over on downs at their own 29.
Miller is trying to force the ball. There was 3 people in the coverage, and he's throwing to 1 man. He's not looking for anything else. He just has a designated receiver, and that's who he wants to throw the ball to. And there were 3 people. You have to give Lamont Nicholson a lot of credit. He is really active. He's all over the field.
So the Flyers, 1st and 10. Scored on their last 4 possessions of the first half. They lead 28-6. 7:19 to go in the 3rd quarter here at Hancock Stadium. Chris Moore trying to cut back, and he is hit by 3 Panthers at the 28-yard line, led by the cornerback Ladoni.
Well, if they can continue to do that, then you're going to see them go back to throwing the football. And now it looks like the secondary for Glenbard North is a little bit more loose, and they're looking for the possibilities.
A loss of a yard. And it's 2nd down. Moore and Corey Dent are the running backs out of the wing team. The wing back on the right side is Fisher. Singleton to put it up with time. The post pattern broken up, almost intercepted at the 35-yard line. Miller and Ladoni were there, and the intended receiver was Stallings.
You see, the problem before was because they were up trying to smell the run out, is that the safety and the defensive halfbacks were just too close. They couldn't recover, and that's why the receivers were getting behind him. Now, you saw Tim Miller make the play. He was deeper. He was able to make the play. He knew where that ball was all the time, even though the receiver was behind him.
3rd and 9. Singleton so far has passed for 133 yards.
Boy, 5 completions. That's a great record for the day.
And 2 touchdowns out of 5 completions. Bootleg pass. Singleton under pressure. Gets it away. Stallings takes it, but also takes a lick at the 29. Hit hard by Tim Miller, who can give a lick as well as take one.
And he's now keying with those ends. He's watching that end because he got burned twice by Stallings, and he came up and made a terrific play.
No gain on the play, and it's 4th down.
There's DeAndre Singleton throwing the ball to Dennis Stallings, and there's Tim Miller. He just waited a little bit to let him catch the ball and then punish him.
It's 4th down and 9.
He knew the pass was going to be short, well short of the yardage needed for 1st down, as DeAndre Singleton awaits the snap at his 15-yard line. Line drive kick, penalty marker thrown. It bounces across the 50. Andy Basile will just walk away from it. The Flyers will watch it roll as it keeps rolling, and they kind of help it along a little bit. Close to the 25-yard line, but it's illegal motion against the Flyers on the punt, and it'll come back.
And make them punt it again because that ball was a little bit high on the snaps.
Singleton averaged nearly 35 yards a punt on the regular season.
Well, I'm sure Coach Shannon had to breathe easier when he saw that Singleton could punt the ball, because every year he's had a 70 or a 90 number back there, and every time I saw it, it made me nervous. Just by the way they held their hands, it looked like they were grabbing a grapefruit.
It was like they had a kicker only because you really have to have one.
It was part of the game.
Yeah,
right?
but Singleton, a very versatile athlete, but he'll have to do it again, and this time he'll be 5 yards farther back. And he'll await the snap at about the 5-yard line. And the single safety back, Basile, is up at his own 45.
Now let's see how they, it's usually an adventure when they punt because of the snap, and at least you've got a good athlete back there that can catch the ball.
The long snapper is Matt Buford. 10 men on the line for the Panthers. Here they come. He gets it away. Basile fumble the football, and the Flyers have it. You can't advance it, but they'll have it at the 46-yard line. We'll take a break with 5:27 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Flyers get the football back. They lead 28-6. All things considered, the Panthers could have had it at the 23. Obviously, you got to take the penalty, but the fumble on the punt, and the Flyers at the 46-yard line of Glenbard North.
That's not easy to catch a ball, particularly with the weather like this. Look at the Bears. They have to use Waddle to catch him.
Moore tripped up at the 47-yard line for a loss of a yard. Firing through was Chris White off the defensive line.
Just to get back about the punt, that's really a difficult thing to catch a football. You know, it's one thing if you're a center fielder and you're catching a baseball, you can do that. You got a glove, plus it's a round ball. This ball is oddly shaped, and it's tough to catch. And even in the, as I mentioned, in the pros, they have to find special people to be able to do that and do it well.
Early in the year when it's warmer, the ball's a little more pliable. It's easier to grab.
It's like a piece of cement today.
2nd and a long 10. Behind the block goes Moore. He gets to the sidelines. He could go all the way to the 15. Touchback, 10, 5. Touchdown. His 3rd of the afternoon. Chris Moore.
You don't coach that type of run. You do not coach it. It's called innate.
47 yards. And the Flyers made the Panthers pay dearly for the turnover.
That was just an outstanding run. He just made a little move to the left, followed his big old tackle there, turned to the outside, and he has perfect vision. He sees the field. Now he sees people coming in. He just cuts back on them, picking up his feet. Tremendous foot movement, and he has very good control with his body.
They're trying for 2 off the bad snap, and it's no good. As the holder tried to come up throwing, the holder, Freddie Barber, throwing for a loss.
And once again, and I think Chris Moore should take out DERRICK Eldridge for a dinner, because that young man is out in front of him, and he's the guy that's providing all the blocking, and he's 5'8", 255, and we'll get a chance to see Eldridge right here. There's the handoff, and there's Eldridge leading right through the hole, but then, of course, the athletic ability of Chris Moore takes over. There's a throw. There's another block by Eldridge, and he turns inside to make the score.
Eldridge, a co-captain and a 2-year starter.
I would love to have a running back like that, because all you do is say, go get him. Feed him regularly, and he can run like that all the time.
There's some running backs in certain Division I schools that don't have 255-pounders to run behind all the time, and mobile like that.
Well, he's a great runner. I hope that he can get some grades and go someplace to be a player, because Chris Moore has great ability.
Nathaniel Robinson will kick it off with Williams and Backridge. Spinning kick, bouncing out of bounds at the 13-yard line, and that's illegal procedure against the Flyers. Well, quick scoring drive indeed for the Flyers. It wound up 72 yards, including the fumbled punt, 6 plays, 2 minutes and 58 seconds, capped off by Moore's 3rd TD of the afternoon.
Do you get the feeling when you see Moore run that he's really not in 3rd gear, that he's really in 2nd, that he really hasn't put all of that burst of speed in? I get the feeling that he's floating a little bit, not loafing, just floating. He's really not putting all of that speed that he might have, and he hasn't shown it yet.
With blocking like that, sometimes you don't have to show that kind of power.
I guess so.
Clear him out of the way easy. They'll kick it off again, this time from the 35.
Of course, all the great backs that run don't look like they're all running that hard, because they're so fluid.
Good ones indeed to make it look easy. And so now Robinson will kick it off once again. 34-6, East St. Louis with the lead. 4.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter at Hancock Stadium. I'm Tom Stalker, Bill Gorley alongside, Joe Passion patrolling the sidelines. And Robinson's kick, line drive, bouncing off the body of Williams. He picks it up. Has good blocking, but suddenly is corralled at the 35, 36-yard line. Preventing him from getting outside was Chris Cook.
And again, the special teams play. Coach Shannon getting a lot of players in. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He actually had 11 people in on his special teams. Not one of his starters was in there on his special teams.
The Panthers have seen both their turnovers turned into scores by the Flyers. It's 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Miller to put it up. Wide open, holding on, taking 2 vicious licks was Kendall Matthews. Lamont Nicholson took him off his feet with a hard hit.
You know, if you had to pick the MVP, and here's the replay, and we'll get a chance to see who I would pick as MVP as far as defense is concerned. There's the catch. Watch Lamont come in, Lamont Nicholson, and make that play. He just sells himself out. He's done that all afternoon. And he's only 180 pounds. What a player. You make a nice, strong safety for somebody.
Miller's throwing ability throughout the year was somewhat maligned because they ran so much. He's shown a good arm so far in this ball game. It's 1st and 10 after the 15-yard gain. He throws it up softly that time. Piccini makes the catch and is knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Lamont Nicholson there.
And he paid for that one. He got that catch, but there were a lot of people that came up and made that play. But yes, I think your point is a good one, Tom. Tim Miller just put a little touch on it. He threw the ball lightly, and he certainly is the kind of athlete that you want. He's a basketball player. We mentioned a baseball player. He's an athlete. He just needs to learn to throw a little bit more, and obviously the offense they have doesn't predicate that they do that.
Well, the you saw there for the afternoon. It is 2nd and 1. But Miller decides to go ahead and see if he can get it all. Just behind Fusini, who tried to fade over towards the sidelines, but he had gotten behind Haywood, but couldn't get back to the football.
Right. You'll see the ball float here. Fusini, it's over on his right shoulder, and Tim Miller's looking all over. And there, not exactly a classic throw, but Fusini tried to get it, but it was behind him, and he couldn't catch the ball. Now, who's to know that the wind maybe didn't take the ball, because it was a high-thrown ball.
Yeah, I tend to think the wind had a lot to do with that. It is 3rd and 1 at the 40-yard line of East St. Louis. The Panthers with the football, trailing 34-6. Fighting hard, driving his way was Jeff Sabatka, the second-string fullback, hit by Maitre Jenkins. And it is close to first down yardage. It's going to be very close. In fact, no. Without even bringing in the chains, they eyeball it, and they say he's inches shy.
And once again, they're going back to their normal offense to be able to try and keep the ball away from East St. Louis. You know, you look at a couple turnovers here, and the passes, and Glenbard North really hasn't done that bad a job in containing Chris Moore.
Now, Miller asked for the measurement, so they will bring the chains in, and the referees were right by eyeballing it. It is just inches shy, well, about a foot so shy. 2:41 to go, third quarter.
And in this situation, you always look for Tim Miller running the quarterback sneak. Let's see if that happens.
There's no doubt about it. The Panthers have no choice. Down by a punch. Late here in third period play. Let's see what Dale Evans calls. And indeed, Miller keeps it and gets the first down. Good blocking. Right up the middle. The guards, Lewandowski and Wozniak in the center, Chris White. Drive stays alive with a first down. 1st and 10 at the 38 of East St. Louis.
And David James, the other linebacker, was in and make that play on Tim Miller. Tim Miller has a little bit of a nose owie. Yeah, looks like that helmet came down. That's from taking too many hits.
First down for the Panthers from the Flyers 38. Miller may be changing at the line. Throws the quick out, yes. Matthews, the wide out screen there, and he got the quick out and is to the 35. David James and Spraggins combine on the tackle, but you saw what Miller saw there, and he called the play at the line.
Yeah, he definitely called it. The defensive halfback had softened up a little bit, and he made the call, and it's just a two-step drop, and he goes right to his wide receiver. And, of course, that was Kendall Matthews that was his split receiver. And, you know, he just made the call, and it's just a play between, it's just play and catch between he and his wide receiver.
2nd and 8 with a minute and a half left to go in the third period. This is the 7th play of this drive. Here's a reverse. Fusini trying to turn the corner. Good pursuit by the Flyers as he is hammered out of bounds at the 39-yard line by the man who's supposed to play the ball carrier on that kind of a play, the free safety, Frank Spraggins.
And you're not going to fool a team with this kind of speed. That was a pitch option. You get a good example of it. There's the fake to the dive. And it looks like he's pitching to his tailback, but actually Fusini comes on the inside, and it's a great football play. But East St. Louis smelled it out and made a tremendous play.
Linebacker David James also over, along with another Flyer. 3 of them over to string out that play for a loss, and it's 3rd down and 12.
Well, Maitre Jenkins, David James, and Lamont Nicholson defensively have really played a tremendous football game for East St. Louis defensively.
The Panthers 44% on 3rd down conversions, but Miller comes to the sidelines to talk with Coach Dale Evans. If you could read expressions, of course, you know, sometimes quarterbacks are like that. They don't show emotions one way or the other. But I think you could see a 34-6 deficit written on his face there.
Well, he's going to be a sore young man, and I know he's probably looking forward to the basketball season, but he's going to have to go and sit in a sauna or a steam room for a couple days because he's going to be sore.
Bob Shannon's ball club leading 34-6. East St. Louis, the winningest team in playoff history in the IHSA, overall 46-8 in the playoffs.
That's insurmountable by any team in this state.
East St. Louis dethroned as champion last year. Thornton with that great comeback win over Downers Grove. Downers Grove North, the team that upended the Flyers in the semifinals. This year, a storybook year for the Panthers of Glenbard North. You can talk about the Loyolas and the other big schools, but the Panthers are here.
Well, they surprised a lot of people, and they're out of the DuPage Valley Conference. And 2 teams from the DuPage Valley, Wheaton Central being one in the 5A championship, and Glenbard North in the 6A. And what can you say? It looks like they're the best conference in the state this year.
3rd and long, sprint out for Miller, and it's caught, but way short of the first down yardage, and some contact on the other side, and the penalty marker goes flying. Some late contact over there. Might have been from David James.
Well, that was a late hit. It looked like he was out of bounds, and that's why they threw the flag.
They picked up 5 yards on the play. They'll pick up more.
Here's Tim Miller throwing off his back foot. There's the catch. He steps out of bounds. Looks like he's trying to rope it a little bit, and then, of course, David James comes in, and he doesn't know because it looks like he was tight roping the sideline. And of course, officials have to call that. They want to make everybody safe, and that's the way it goes. You got a 15-yard penalty.
Automatic first down to go with the personal foul penalty. So it would have been at the 34, but it now goes down to the 20-yard line, and it's first down. 38 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. 34-6. in favor of East St. Louis. But the Panthers are driving it deep into Flyer territory. Miller looked to his left, now runs to his right. Good effort down to the 10-yard line. He made something out of nothing.
That's a broken play, and he wanted to throw to his left, look up inside to his right, and just turned it up and made a play. Here's Tim Miller, two-step drop, doesn't see anything, turns to his right, steps up inside, and then turns it back outside to make something out of that play. And that's why Tim Miller is such an excellent player. I don't know that he'll be a college quarterback prospect, but he's certainly a prospect just because he's a good athlete, and I would think that they probably look at him as a defensive halfback.
All right, the third quarter is over here at Hancock Stadium. 1 quarter left here in the battle for the 6A championship game. It's 34-6 in favor of the Flyers. Welcome back. The final quarter of a big weekend of football that has come your way on Sports Channel, the IHSA State Football Championships. It's East St. Louis leading 34-6 as we go to the fourth quarter. It is 2nd and 1 for Glenbard North from the 11. Miller may have been a busted play, kept it as I thought the handoff man, the fullback ran right by him.
He did, but he likes to run that where he can follow in behind the fullback. He'll make the fake, or to the dive back, he'll make the fake and then go in right behind him, and that's a design play. I don't know if that was true or not, but it certainly looked like something he's done before.
They get the first down. It's 1st and goal in the third quarter. Glenbard had 20 snaps to only 6 for East St. Louis, but East St. Louis picked up the score in the quarter on the big 47-yard Moore touchdown run. Slanting through the line, Matt Baccarat to about the 7, running into Lamont Nicholson. He picked up 2.
Well, coming into this game, Tom, the big thing that Glenbard North had to worry about was the big play. And, of course, they've had a number of them, and that was their concern. They couldn't allow the big play and then try to smother Moore. They did that early, and then, of course, the big play started to come, and that's why the score is up where it is right now, where it's 34-6.
East St. Louis defense has really made Glenbard work hard. Nothing has come easy for them. 2nd and goal from the 7. The option. The pitch back to Baccarat, and he is thrown back at the 9-yard line for a loss of 2 by Marcio Haywood. Oh, the East St. Louis quickness really blew that play.
There's a counter option. He just got smacked by Derrick Eldridge. There's another play, and oh my, there's people coming from all over. Dennis Stallings finishing it off, and there's some tremendous hits. We could hear it all the way up here in the press box. There's a good picture of Derrick Eldridge. Now back on defense, but he's the one that's been leading the way for Chris Moore offensively. On second thought, maybe Moore should take him out for dinner.
We should talk.
That's right.
A little over a minute and a half gone. 3rd and goal from the 9. Miller looking to throw, and he thrown for a sack back at the 20-yard line as Theodric Jackson comes from his left end spot and drops him back outside the 20.
And that's a name we haven't heard all day. Theodric is just a young guy who's getting a chance to play, and we'll see him coming from the outside from his defensive end position to be able to make the sack. Plays off his man, comes out, makes the play.
Did you see Ken Chu, the tackle, go to double team somebody else and leave his quarterback wide open?
Right, and that's where you get where you get trouble with for your quarterback.
It's 4th and goal from the 20. Miller in trouble again as he is sacked by Stallings, who just blew by his block, and the Flyers will take it over on downs. What a show by their defense.
Well, it's a bootleg play, and of course your guard has to come out and block the defensive end, and there was so much penetration by Stallings that he actually took and stuffed the guard back into Tim Miller and then made the play. He came off the block, and Dennis Stallings made the play. There's a picture of Dennis Stallings. You know, it's cold out there, and those kind of hits really hurt. They sting a little bit.
1st and 10 for the Flyers from the 25.
There's his numbers, 33 solos and 18 assists, and you got to believe that he's contributed a great deal to the defensive effort, the stingy defensive effort by East St. Louis.
Moore straight up the middle, maybe a yard to the 26-yard line. The outside linebacker Larry Blazinski with the tackle. One thing you like about Stallings, he's just got that good 6'1" frame that a college program can really sculpt.
Right, he's only 218 pounds, and he could easily be 235 and not lose any speed, and he certainly looks like a prospect. And they're talking about the cold weather. There's the heater down on the sideline. A few of the players trying to keep themselves warm, keep their feet warm.
Yes, and when you're behind, the cold seems that much more colder.
And those owies hurt a little bit more, too.
2nd down and 10. On that lead draw, Moore pounding off of would-be tackler after tackler, getting a hard-fought yard. Matt Baccarat wrapped him up to bring him down.
Well, there's no question Chris Moore is going to leave Hancock Stadium with a couple of records. He's going to have the all-time rushing record and the all-time scoring record, and it'll be a long time before anybody will approach those.
Who knows what he might have done had he played those 2 games he missed.
That's correct. That's correct. He didn't play because of discipline reasons, and then the guard, number 56, David James, was the tailback, and he's only a junior, so he may be the heir apparent to the tailback job.
Moore, the single setback on 3rd and 8 from the 27. Bootlegging it is Singleton, throwing in, almost received by a man downfield, Roderick Fisher. Berardi covering. It was thrown too high for Stallings, but behind him was Fisher, who nearly came up with it.
And you know, DeAndre Singleton, as you take a look, he doesn't throw the ball. He's throwing off of both feet, then step forward to throw the ball, and he threw the ball 30 yards. And he certainly has some ability as a passer.
You want to show our age and say, remember when that wouldn't have been legal?
That's right.
4th down. And Singleton drops back in punt position at about the 12. And it sails out of bounds. Ladoni watched it go out of bounds, and they'll take it over at the 47-yard line. This has been a big weekend of football here at Hancock Stadium. This is the 6th and final state champion will crown. It all began yesterday in Class 1A with Stockton beating Arcola 32-6. Watch this on the Arcola punt. He'll punt it off his blocker.
He kicked it right off the tail of his blocker.
And boom. It'll be taken by Steve Smith, who takes it 37 yards, bouncing off the hit for the touchdown. And again, Stockton wins the 1A title 32-6. In the 2A title, it was Fulton and Greenfield. The larger Fulton team eventually wore them down. Here is Sean Price, the touchdown reception from Hosey. And they went on to win it 26-8. Fulton, the 2A champion.
Intended for 35, Andy Basile, incomplete.
As we come back, the pass by Miller was incomplete.
Intended for Andy Basile.
2nd down and 10.
And so it'll be 2nd and 10. With the ball at the 47-yard line of the Panthers.
Ball's at the 47.
7:22 left to go in the fourth quarter. 34-6. The Flyers have the lead. The small but scrappy group of Panthers trying to get another score on the board.
They're in their passing formation where they go twin to the wide side of the field.
Miller dumped it off short, but the man he was throwing it to was being hit immediately. He was trying to dump it off to Williams, but now the ball deflected, and they get it down to the 35-yard line. That was kicked in the air.
Right, that was a strange play. That was an intended screen.
It was off of Williams. It was a tip, and they get it all the way down to the 36-yard line. I got to look at that one again.
That was a strange play. It was an intended screen.
Well, it was a tough play to pick up. When the running back Williams was just flattened as the little screen dump pass came his way, you just naturally thought, obviously, the play was over.
And so did East St. Louis. And it popped up, and it was caught, and it was continued. Now the officials are going to discuss this a little bit.
It would be a 17-yard gain. But it was, again, off of Marlon Williams. And then it popped in the air. And then let's go back and see just exactly what the cameras were able to pick up. And maybe we can piece it together from there, Bill.
East St. Louis really had it covered well. It was a screen pass, and they had it covered. You'll see Tim Miller take the snap. He comes back. Now he'll look back inside where the screen man is. Now there's the ball. The ball did definitely hit the ground.
Yeah,
that's an incomplete pass.
And now a penalty marker has been thrown.
Then they kept going, and the officials weren't sure, so they allowed the play to go. But that's an incomplete pass.
I thought I saw the ball strike the ground.
It's definitely an incomplete pass, and that's what they're talking about right now.
It should be 3rd and 10 back at the 47-yard line.
Tom, I thought maybe it had hit a helmet and bounced up.
It is again. They move it now back to the 43-yard line, which is not where that other line of scrimmage was. But again, there was a penalty marker thrown.
Right.
An illegal pass they're calling, which is the 5-yard penalty and loss of down. And it's 4th down.
Illegal forward pass against Glenbard North.
I'm not sure what was illegal about it. I'm not sure what was illegal about it at all. Like, if anything, I thought it could possibly be pass interference on the linebacker.
There's Tim Miller back to throw.
Miller throws, and it's out of bounds. Ladoni can't make the catch. He was covered by Haywood. I thought that would have made it 4th down on the loss of down. Now it is 4th down. Who's on first?
Well, there was a lot of confusion there, and I think the officials were just as confused as anybody. But the ball, at first, maybe from their vantage point, maybe it looked like it hit one of the players and bounced up, but it plainly hit the ground, and there was no receiver there.
I think it might have been picked up by a lineman, and they thought it might have been caught by a lineman. That's the only thing I can think of.
Right.
Here is the punt by Steve. Moore takes it at his 25. Runs straight ahead. Look out. To the 48-yard line. Matt Bakra with a sure-handed tackle. Let's watch that run back.
We'll get to see a good example of Chris Moore's ability. He has a little stutter step. And this one, it really freezes people when he uses a stutter step. Now he makes the catch. There's a little stutter step right there, and then he turns it up. And he never really seems to run as fast as you really would like to see him. He runs fast enough to get by people, and that's all. But what a great talent he is.
6:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Flyers with the ball and a 34-6 lead. The fullback pops right through the line. Corey Dent may go all the way. He gets to the sidelines. Good shoulder tackle by Joe Berardi to save the touchdown and knock Dent out of bounds near the 10-yard line.
That's a quick trap up the middle, and they were keying on Chris Moore. There's the trap block inside, and Corey Dent just goes right up inside, right behind the trap block, and obviously he's got some speed too. Now, Corey Dent, of course, is only 180 pounds, but he popped right in there.
He played in this game as a tailback, sophomore, second string 2 years ago. He picked up 42 yards, as you see. On the run, it's at the 9, 1st and goal. Moore to the outside, breaks a tackle and is in for the touchdown, his 4th of the afternoon.
So wonder they don't call him automatic Moore. Every time he gets the ball, boom, he's in for a touchdown.
That is a record tied, a title game record, 4 rushing touchdowns. That one goes for 9.
So he walks out of here with 3 different records. And here's Chris Moore tying the record for rushing touchdowns. And he just glides right in for another one right there. And that's all he ever sees is official raising both hands.
The point after by Robinson is good. And with 6:01 left to go in the 4th quarter, the Flyers lead it commandingly 41-6 here in the battle for the 6A state championship. We're back at Hancock Stadium, and this really shows you the explosiveness of the Flyers attack. They cover 51 yards in 2 plays. Of course, 42 of them coming on Dent's big run, capped by the 9-yard touchdown run, the record-tied touchdown run by Moore, and they lead 41-6 with 6:01 to go in the 4th quarter.
And Chris Moore has 141 yards on 17 carries and 4 touchdowns for the afternoon.
There's Nathaniel Robinson as he will kick it off to Marlon Williams and Matt Bachra. It sails over Williams' head into the end zone, and the Panthers will take it at the 20.
Will be brought out to the 20-yard line.
Let's go take a look now as action from yesterday. The other 2 games we brought to you on Sports Channel in the battle for 3A. It was Addison Driscoll against Robinson. This was a game which saw 8 records set. Here's Mike Kaminsky, 64 yards, leading Driscoll to the 42-20 win.
Number 12, that's pretty familiar, isn't it, Tom?
And then in the 4A game last night, the hometown Bloomington Purple Raiders in a tight battle with Providence. Providence looking for its 2nd state title. And this is the Orr combination. Chris to younger brother Justin for the touchdown. Broke a 3-3 tie and gave Providence the win in the 4A title. 1st and 10 from the 20. Miller with little choice than to try to put it up. Cuts it back and gets it back to the line of scrimmage as Cornelius Hodges makes the stop.
And with 5:53, as you mentioned, they really don't have much other arsenal left. They just need to go back and throw the ball and just try and salvage something from this championship game. But, you know, that's the one thing about a championship game. Somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. And here you have a good season. You come in here with a 12-1 record and you go home without having won. And you know, there's only 2 teams that can get here, and yet it's almost a downer for a team that loses the championship.
It's the one game you think about all winter, and if it's your last game as a senior, maybe the last game you think about forever. Bachra trying to pick his way, stays on his feet, and really goes down hard at the 23-yard line. He fought hard for 3 yards.
And LAMONT Nicholson again in on the play. He's been in on quite a few tackles, and you see a picture of him there. He's got rib pads, and I could see why.
Nicholson, one of the big surprises this year defensively for the Flyers. They really didn't expect a lot out of him. But boy, has he stepped to the forefront this year.
He certainly made a difference for them defensively.
4:41 remaining in the 4th quarter. It is 3rd and 7 for Glenbard North. Miller with time. Trying to cut back and make the diving effort was Pusini. The pass thrown behind him, and he couldn't get to it.
You know, Tom, every year that we're down here, when we get a little moisture, it always seems that the field on the far side away from the press box is always slippery. If you remember last year, it was the same problem. They slipped all the time, and there was a number of times that I've seen other games, the same thing has happened. So that field, for some reason or other, must not drain properly because it's bad footing.
We had a lot of rain in the Bloomington area last night, right at the very end of the 4A title game. As back to punt it away is Steve, and Moore watches it bounce, and he'll let it bounce by him. does the wise thing as the Panthers surround the football, and the wind helps blow it, and as well as the crown of the field, and they whistle it dead at the 33-yard line. A punt of 43 yards for Steve. 4:17 remaining. Would somebody please claim a tuba that has been reported lost in the north end zone?
You know that when I retire, that's what I want to learn how to play is the tuba. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, we're both built for that.
Hey, listen, I'd be big on that tuba.
There's a future for us yet.
You just need a little lederhosen and you go ahead and play your tuba.
I'll play the glockenspiel, thank you.
All right, hey, listen, we could be a duo.
1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Under 4 minutes now. The fake on the reverse to Moore, and popping through is Fisher. And Fisher may go all the way for 67 yards. He high steps it into the end zone, 67 yards, but a penalty marker is back near midfield.
Well, it looked like a scrum, and no one wrapped up. And all of a sudden, boom, Fisher comes out of nowhere, and he's ahead of the pack.
But let's sort out the penalty marker, as you see, lying on the artificial surface of Hancock Stadium.
I wonder if they ever get those handkerchiefs cleaned.
Well, they probably get a special rate, I suppose. And it's going to stand up.
It's a touchdown. Coach Shannon came out on the field and said, hey, that should have been a touchdown. Looked like an inadvertent flag. Nobody blew the whistle or anything, so why not?
And we look to see. Ah, yes.
All right.
They have now reclaimed the lonesome tuba. So now Robinson will try to tack on the point after and give the Flyers a 48-6 lead.
Straight on kicker.
And it's good. 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the 6A title game. After the 67-yard run from Roderick Fisher.
Well, those kind of plays, I'm sure, were the kinds of things that Dale Evans was thinking about the whole week. Worried about those big plays that would turn this game into a nightmare for him, and they've been realized. Here's the last touchdown. It's a reverse out, inside handoff, and it looked like a scrum. Everybody's there, and then all of a sudden you see number 10, Fisher, break out of the pack, and of course there's nobody within 10-15 yards of him because he came out of that scrum and no one wrapped up. Corey Fisher has a touchdown.
A little high stepping into the end zone.
Yeah, they're having a little fun right now at somebody else's expense, but Roderick Fisher makes a nice play, and that's not a play that they haven't run. It was not something that they hadn't seen all afternoon because Roderick has run the inside wingback reverse 4 or 5 times today.
Great timing on the play. Of course, they use the wingback reverse, St. Louis does, as their bomb play. I mean,
that's a great play. It's a super play off of the wing tee.
Baccarat from the 5-yard line. He's had some good returns today. Gets to the sidelines and has a good return here up to the 38-yard line.
You know, that play, the wingback reverse, is when you're hitting off tackle with your running back all the time, and then you come back on the inside. It's just a real effective play, and as you say, it's a bomb play, but that's the way it should be used. And you use it right here when you see people overloading it. Obviously, it worked again for the East St. Louis offense.
So it looks like once again, for the 6th time, the state championship trophy will head down to East St. Louis.
They have to have a trophy case just for championships for the state.
Yes, and of course, this is the 9th time they've been in the title game, so you get at one for 2nd place as well. As a dive play right up the middle, gets a couple of yards to about the 38-yard line. Jeff Sabatka on the carrier. He picked up 3 yards on the play.
3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7.
But like you said earlier, this is the final game of what's been a storybook season for the Panthers of Glenbard North. I mean, even in one newspaper article about this game from a Chicago paper, they were called the Hilltoppers.
Right, and at least at this point, maybe they'll get some respect as far as the press and some of the other people who look at football programs.
2nd and 7, cutting it upfield. Miller, he's into the secondary. Yanked down as he's into Flyer territory to the 43-yard line. A 19-yard pickup for Miller and a first down.
And that was a nice bit of running. That's the kind of running that Miller would like to have done earlier in the ball game and wasn't able to do that. They never let Miller out.
Well, Miller said the loss to Conant in the playoffs last year in the semis really haunted him in the offseason. They were 12-0 when they lost in the semis a year ago. We approach the 2-minute mark. 1st and 10 for the Panthers from the 43-yard line. On the toss, Matt Baccarat breaks one tackle, puts the shoulder down, drives through another tackle, and gets to the 32-yard line, and a penalty marker thrown. Maybe some late contact.
Well, Baccarat certainly made a nice run there. He gave a little bit of a limp leg and then kept his feet going and drove his shoulder down and got a few extra yards.
He'll be the workhorse likely next year. A clip is a preliminary indication as he is the...
Here's the replay. There's the quick pitch, Tom, to Baccarat. He breaks one tackle, keeps his feet going, and low to the ground and has his pads down and makes a nice run. Excellent run, and I'm sure that they're going to count on him for next year if he can do a lot of that type of running.
Earlier today, our first game of the day you saw on Sports Channel. What a battle between Wheaton Central, the school where Red Grange played, and Mount Carmel, going for its 4th consecutive title. Wheaton Central led 14-7 in that ball game. But what a great job on the run by Mike McGrew.
And that was the winner. That was the touchdown. It was 14-14 at that time, and Mike McGrew ran it for the touchdown.
But even when time expired in that game, Wheaton had the ball deep in Mount Carmel territory. A heck of a battle.
7-yard line.
1:54. It's back at the 47-yard line. 1st and 15. Miller to the sidelines. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Jashane Staten. Staten had been the starting free safety who lost his job to Frank Sprague.
First down for Glenbard North.
First down for the Panthers. A pickup of 16 yards, needed 15, and it's 1st and 10.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of different numbers out there for East St. Louis. Other people are getting the opportunity to play on defense for the East St. Louis Flyers. What an apt name for a football team. Flyers.
Especially the way they play.
Exactly. I mean, you couldn't name a better team than that.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Miller again rambling on the option to the 25-yard line. He picked up 7. One reason Glenbard North had some trouble getting some respectability, they lost their opener to Frem. St. Louis lost its 2nd game of the year to Muskogee, Oklahoma, after defeating Sumner of St. Louis 26-0. But again, Moore didn't play in either one of those ball games.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest reasons Glenbard North didn't get the respect, is they lost to Frem 17-14. Frem did not have a winning season, and really the defensive team for Glenbard North really didn't start to gel until late in the season.
2nd down and 4. Miller keeping it. Hit at the 20 and falls forward to the 18-yard line. He gets another first down. 56 seconds left to go. What a career, though. What a way to cap off the career. Miller will finish as a starting quarterback 22-3 as we will take a break here at Hancock Stadium. Under a minute, 48-6. The Flyers of East St. Louis heading for the 6A state championship. You want this? Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
We ask all fans to remain in their seats for the awards ceremony. It will take place immediately after the game in front of the West Main stands. Trophies and medallions will be awarded to players from each of the competing schools. Also,
we'll go upstairs, up, then go to the studio after when the game is over.
President Tom Wallace,
Joe could wrap up. We wrap it up quickly. Throw it to the studio.
Ticket manager Becky Short, press box host Art Sievers, and the many other dedicated personnel here on the ISU campus for their tremendous cooperation in managing this year's
The
game.
final minute of action in the big weekend of the IHSA State Finals. East St. Louis Senior leading at 48-6. It's 1st and 10 for Glenbard North at the Flyers' 17-yard line.
Playoff series and championship game, the great success it has been.
Miller slips and goes down back at the 23-yard line. Well, we want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the folks responsible for today's excellent coverage. Our producer-director is Tim Sutton. The coordinating producer, Greg Bowman. And the executive producer of our coverage, John Tewitt. It has been our pleasure to bring you this great coverage on Sports Channel live directly from Hancock Stadium. Great football spectacle here in the Midwest. The IHSA Finals. 2nd down from the 22. Pass complete at the 16-yard line and going down to the turf immediately after making the catch for the Panthers was Jeff Fiorito.
And we're seeing some different numbers in there for Glenbrook North, or Glenbard North. No wonder they have trouble getting respect. They're called Glenbrook North. They're called the Hilltoppers. Glenbard North putting a lot of different people in. It's a championship game, and it's over with. You might as well get all those young people in. They've worked hard all season. Whether they're a great player or not, they deserve an opportunity to play.
Well, you saw Roderick Fisher showing his happiness and the Flyers reclaiming the state trophy. Like we said at the outset, they're here so many times. There's the game ball going to Coach Bob Shannon. I tell you what, under some trying circumstances, he runs a proud program. And the Panthers have every bit to be proud as well, despite losing here in the title game. A great year for them.
Coach Shannon's a very disciplined person, runs that kind of program, and they have a lot of respect throughout the state because of the way they play, not just because they're good.
11 seconds remaining. It is 3rd down and 9 from the 16-yard line.
3rd down and 9 from the 16, 11 seconds left.
Well, this could be the last play, Tim.
Marlon Williams in the backfield, along with Sabatka. Miller to put it up. And is sacked back at the 22-yard line, a loss of 6. 3 seconds, 2. It's all over. And the Flyers have reclaimed the state title, their 6th, as they defeat the Panthers of Glenbard North 48-6 with an explosive offensive showing here this afternoon. Both teams go out to congratulate each other, and let's go down for a final word and a great job done this weekend throughout the coverage by Joe Passion.
All right, thanks very much, Tom. Certainly some final comments from here. Give East St. Louis a lot of credit. They stopped early in the game by Glenbard. They came right back and really shoved it down their throats throughout the game. Glenbard stayed with them till the very end on this last drive, but obviously not enough. East St. Louis Senior with their 6th state championship. A great weekend overall, and Glenbard North becomes the only team that's been the home team in these last 2 days not to win a state championship while on this sideline. And a great privilege working with all of you. I'll send it back up in the meantime to Tom and Bill. Have a great week.
Thank you very much, Joe. Bill, as we had said, the nightmares came alive for Glenbard North as that explosive offense for East St. Louis. They were playing the run so much, the pass really opened it up for them in the first half.
Well, it was plain and simple, and you can put it in one sentence. Too many big plays. That's what hurt Glenbard North. And, of course, they were not looking for the pass. And Coach Shannon, I'm sure, with that smile on his face, was very happy because he felt that the game plan that he had worked.
The Flyers are the champions. Chris Moore with 2 IHSA career records and a title game record, 4 touchdowns today. Also 2 touchdown receptions for Dennis Stallings. They just put it all together. And Chris Moore says, Coach, it's been something else. The Flyers are crowned champions. For Ron Gleason, Jack McInerney, Bill Gorley, Joe Passion, I'm Tom Stalker. It's been our pleasure. Thanks for being with us this weekend. Let's go back now to our Sports Channel studios.
Ladies and gentlemen.